What's up, everyone? Welcome back. This episode, we got the LA Rams, a team that had a pretty disappointing season, had some decent expectations. Some people thought they might make the playoffs. Defense just couldn't do enough with how bad their offense was. I have them 29th in the power rankings going into next season. That said, they could actually turn this thing around. I'm actually somewhat of a believer in Jared Goff, not fully on board, obviously, but I think they are a few pieces away from really putting this thing together. And who knows, maybe they'll get the city of LA behind them one of these seasons before they get that new stadium. So let's take a look at the roster, some risers and fallers compared to EA's rankings. Jared Goff stays about the same. Keenum goes down, but you will notice much more elusive, much more athletic, more ability throwing on the run. At running back, Todd Gurley goes way up. I always have to move him up when I redo these rosters. But this time I didn't move him up to like 92 like I've had him before. He definitely, took a step back. The team wasn't as good as it was his rookie season, but the vision and just his overall ability, the physical ability's there, but he definitely didn't capitalize on every opportunity he had this year. But obviously, still a great player. I would still think if this team figures it out, he is going to be an absolute dominant running back. And then Benny Cunningham, I like a good bit. Kind of a lot of different things that I like about his game. He reminds me a lot of like Bilal Powell. Probably never going to be a lead back, but a lot of nice things to his game. And then Malcolm Brown goes up a good bit. He was like a 64 overall. And then Trey Mason goes down just because, we don't even know if we're going to see Trey Mason play again. So that's it for the running backs. On to the receivers. Most of these guys moving down. Kenny Britt's going to be a free agent. He just has never really played with a quarterback, but definitely a solid receiver. Honestly, still has the upside to be a number one receiver in the right system with the right quarterback. Just hasn't had it click yet. And then Taven Austin goes down, but his acceleration goes up just so fast, but not a ton of finesse to his game. And then Brian Quick, probably an okay number three receiver, to be honest. And then the rest of these guys, Nelson Cruz goes up a little bit, but not a whole lot after the top there. Lance Kendricks goes up. I think he's a pretty good blocker. Always was. So I think 78 is about right for him. And then not much else at tight end. The offensive line, this is going to be the number one focus, as is with a lot of teams this offseason. But Greg Robinson hasn't really worked out. I think his future might honestly be at right tackle, but we'll see. I mean, they don't really have another guy to play left tackle right now, so they're stuck with him there. He could even move inside and play guard, but he's really struggled. Hasn't really figured it out after being, top 3 pick a few years ago. Roger Saffold's really the mainstay that they have on this whole line, but not good enough to play tackle. They had to move him inside. And then the rest of these guys are very much replacement level. Havenstein is not a good pass blocker. He comes down from like a 77 overall, I think. So really, this offensive line is going to have to be fixed if they want to turn this thing around and if they want Goff to develop. And they're going to have to turn it around fast because, as we've seen with quarterbacks, once that confidence is gone, you can count them out. And then the defense, especially in the front seven, these guys are just studs all across the board. William Hayes, tremendous player. Robert Quinn, he goes up a little bit, did have a disappointing season. I think a lot of that was injury related. Onto the D tackle, Aaron Donald, such a freak. I mean, when we get to look at these linebackers, you'll notice they basically are a nickel defense. They don't even list 3 starting linebackers. And I think a big part of that is because Aaron Donald is essentially a pass rusher and an inside linebacker all in one. It's just crazy the things he does. And then these other guys, I mean, Dominique Easley is a third D tackle, is absolutely insane. They signed him over from New England. When he plays, he's great, but he fights injuries all the time. So I don't know how much longer he's going to be around, but just a great D-line, probably the best D-line in football. And then you got, like I mentioned, they don't really have a third starting outside linebacker, but Alec Ogletree was criminally low, in my opinion. He was a 77 overall. Ogletree is one of the best middle linebackers. I tweeted out a clip of him just stuffing. I think it was in the Saints game. I might have been Mark Ingram or Hightower, but just one-on-one Oklahoma drill style, absolutely stuffs the running back on the goal line. This guy flies around. He might struggle at times, some inconsistencies, but when you have a guy this athletic that has a nose for the football like he does, just a great middle linebacker. And then Mark Barron, he stays about the same. The converted safety. He's kind of like a Deion Buchanan, maybe a slightly worse version. The corners, these guys stand about the same. Joyner comes down just a little bit. He was an 80 overall. He's definitely limited by his size, what he can do, but a great player, has some great instincts as mainly a nickel corner. He played some more outside, but he probably should stay on the inside just because of that size. And then Tremaine Johnson's a free agent. He could end up getting paid elsewhere. I think they might look to draft corner and let Tremaine go. I don't know if he's really a number one corner, probably a really good number two though. And then the safeties, these guys are studs. TJ McDonald goes up. So a lot of movement on this roster. Let me know what you guys think. If you like the changes, if you don't like the changes, and we will see you for the next video. We got the Ravens coming up, another team that actually had a lot of movement on it as well. So thanks, guys. Peace out.